So you decided to go camping, hiking, expedition, trekking or tramping as they call it in New Zealand. I'm going to run through some of the gear that you should take with you. This is about food. Now it's very important about eating on an expedition or a trek or a hike. We talked about the cookers earlier and getting your food cooked, but what do we take? What food do we hike with? What we're looking for is something that's dehydrated, something that's not heavy. Remember, we're carrying our 3 litres of water and we're going to use that to cook, but we don't want to take super heavy foods. Now, I've seen a lot of people hike with tins. Now, tins are great for home, but think about what you've got to do. You're going to carry the steel, you're going to carry it in, you're going to carry it around with you all weekend, and then you're going to carry it out again with you. You're carrying water around. So I would recommend ditch the tins and go with the dehydrated stuff. Now, there's a large range and everybody is different to what they like. I'm going to tell you some of the stuff that I take hiking, and then you can choose from there. For breakfast, let's start with breakfast because it's the most important meal of the day. I love hiking and having a hot breakfast. I take my trusty granola. Unfortunately, Sanitarium does not make it anymore, and this is my last box. So what I'm going to be doing in the future is I'm going to be using porridge. And you can get these little porridge sachets. They're not real expensive. And each sachet is a breakfast. It's going to help you give the good hike for the day, good energy. I will also, for breakfast, I'll have a hot drink. So boil a bit of water, cook my porridge in, and have a hot drink. That will do me for breakfast. Now, I like to add some dates, chopped up dried dates or some other dried fruit. You can add that into your breakfast as well. Stew it up and it's quite tasty. So that's one option for you. You can take cereal, that's not a problem. Just remember that if you take cereal, you're going to want milk. Now, do we carry UHT milk? I would suggest no. I would go with the powdered option here. Just grab some powdered milk, pre-mix your cereals up, work out how much you're going to want for your breakfast, put it into a little Ziploc bag, and then mix the milk in it. That way you're ready to go. I've seen people eat their breakfast out of these and keep walking. Good way to go. You can mix it up in a pot, tip it all into the pot, and you're great. Now, for lunch, what are you going to do for lunch? Rice cakes. They're great, they're nice and lightweight. You do have to protect them in your pack because they'll break up. Personally, I like hiking with the Cruskets, the crisp breads. I'll take the crisp breads. Now, sometimes I have been known to take a tomato or a bit of cucumber with me for the first day of the hike and cut that up, so I've got a bit of the fresh food. So I'll take something like that for lunch and these cheese sticks. So I can have Cruskets with cheese on them. Things like that are really, really good. Now remember, you're thinking lightweight, so you want something that's not too heavy. And I mentioned earlier that I like my instant puddings. So I'll take an instant pudding for lunch along with my Cruskets and my cheese and my other stuff, and I'll take an instant pudding. Now, the directions are on the back of these. I mix them up again in a little Ziploc bag, but I'll mix them up slightly stronger so that they go into my cup and they set very, very quickly. I'll mix them up with a bit of powdered milk and a bit of that. I test it before I go, so I know how much is required to go into each one. And you'll see some sachets I've made up later. Great for lunches, quick setting, very, very tasty. You're hiking along the track and you're getting a bit hungry. So what you can get is this. It's called trail mix, or I grew up calling it scroggin before it came available on the market. And it's basically a mix of dried nuts and dried fruits. You can put whatever in you want. I like putting a bit of banana chips in, so not just what you buy. You can mix it to whatever you want. I've got pineapple lumps as well, just here. So I'll start with that as a base with the nuts and the seeds and sultanas. I'll mix some banana chips in, mix some pineapple pieces in, some other dried fruit and things like that. But most importantly, I'll put a bit of chocolate in. I like breaking up the chocolate just so there's a bit of other flavour. Smarties are really good to put in because they've got a hard shell and they don't melt as well. Now, you can mix it all up into one big bag. Personally, I like to have it in a few smaller bags, so I'll have, say, one for Saturday and one for Sunday. If I'm doing a Monday hike, I'll have one for Monday as well. That means I'm not going to eat everything on the first day. So we've been hiking all day and it's come time for dinner. And you're getting a bit hungry. It's like, I'm tired, but I want a hot meal. So there's numerous different options out there like these. These are a freeze-dried hiking food. You can take them out of the packets and mix them up to what you require. There's all different flavors, so creamy spinach, rice, mushroom, couscous is really good, macaroni cheese. It's limitless what you can look at that's pre-packaged. Now there is a lot of pre-packed meals that have moisture in them. I want you to think about if you want to carry that moisture. So you're out for 3 days and you're carrying around one of these sachets that is basically a tip and heat meal. You tip it into your pot and heat it up. So you're carrying that water around. You can't drink that water, but you're carrying it. It is extra weight in your pack that you do not need to carry. So think about these. Now, very important, especially with something like this or the macaroni cheese. Make sure you read the back of the packets and it'll tell you the cooking time. So remember, you're going to be cooking on a pot. And when you're cooking on a pot, you are carrying a limited supply of gas. Now, you can cook in the fire and it will make the bottom of your pot black. I prefer to stay cooking on my gas. It keeps my pot nice and clean for my pack. But you've got to remember how much gas you have. So I'd recommend cooking some of these things on your cooker before you go and just seeing how long it takes. Sometimes you can pre-soak them for a little bit, give them 10 minutes soak, it gets a bit of a head start. But you also need to look and see, because some of these recipes like macaroni cheese will require margarine. If they require milk, remember what do you do? Bit of powdered milk in a little Ziploc bag, you're ready to go. What I do when they require margarine is I've got my trusty film canister. Now these are hard to find now because we're all digital. And I'll put my margarine down into my film canister and that's enough margarine to cook my macaroni cheese, or if I want to spread a bit onto my cruskets for lunch. There's numerous other different containers that you can take. I like the film canister because they're small, they're light, but you can buy a little snap lock container to do exactly the same thing. Now, another thing I like to eat, dead mashed potato. Works really, really well. Nice and lightweight and tasty. Again, a bit of the margarine or a bit of the butter on it makes it taste a lot nicer. Now, I have been known to buy these. These are a veggie crisp. They're dehydrated sweet potato in different things. You can get other dehydrated vegetables as well. And I have mixed them in with other things like this in my pot, just a few of them, and they will come back sort of to life. You can eat them dry, and that's not a problem, but I like mixing them in. Adds a bit of flavour and a bit of different texture. They tend to go a little bit slimy sometimes, depending on how long you cook for. It's entirely up to you what you do. 2-minute noodles for dinner, always a really, really good option. Probably not the best to be eating 2-minute noodles in the middle of the day because they take time to cook and you want to keep hiking. Now, a lot of people will eat them dry. That's up to you, but just remember, if you eat them dry, then you're going to need to drink a lot of water because they will suck the water out of your body. Now, if you want something a bit nicer for lunch, and I'll have some of these for lunch as well, grab yourself some muesli bars. I personally like the nice and natural bars. There's a lot of different muesli bars out there on the market that you can use to take hiking. I wouldn't take the box like this. What I would do is I ditch the box, because remember, the box is just dead weight that you don't need to carry. And I would just take the muesli bar and I would mix it, put it in the sachet. So for lunch, I would get my Ziploc bag, I would put that in, I would put my cheese sticks in, I would put my instant pudding in a smaller sachet, not in a big one like this. You can get a smaller Ziploc bag. So the instant pudding, a bit of milk powder, and then I label that with the day's meal, so that when I hike, I can go into my pack and I pull it out and I go, oh yep, that's Saturday lunch or that's Sunday dinner. It keeps it straightforward, and I know what I'm eating, and I know that I'm not going to run out of food. Now, I will always pack 2 extra meals just in case, and this has showed up as a really good idea. I was hiking with somebody and they left their pack outside overnight, and a possum got into it and destroyed all of their food. And there was 5 of us there who all had extra meals, just in case something goes wrong or you get stuck out overnight a night longer than you need to. And what we did is we took all our extra meals and we gave it to that person, and they had food for the weekend. So really good idea to carry a little bit extra food. I know it's extra weight, but that little bit extra food may get you out of trouble. Hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of what sort of food to take. I have seen people turn up on a 3-day hike and pull a Domino's pizza box out of their pack on Monday morning for breakfast. Ham and cheese, been sitting in your pack for 3 days. I don't know how good that's going to be. I would recommend going with your pre-packaged food. As I said, there's a lot of great meals and products out there. You can even use the little soup sachets, anything like that. Remember, stuff that's lightweight. Packaging, if you can ditch as much of the packaging as you can, then you're going to be better off because you don't have to carry it. A lot of hiking is done in national parks, so remember, what you carry in, you carry back out. We don't burn plastic in the fire, that's bad for the environment. Now just remember with food that you're going to be expending a lot more energy because you're carrying weight on your back and you're doing a lot more walking around in the bush than you would normally do. So you've got to make sure that you put the energy back in that you are expending during the day. So look at how much you're going to eat, how hungry you're going to be, and how long that you want to take cooking it. It's very important to look at these things. If you're tired and you don't want to spend 15 minutes cooking something, then just have a think about it. Make sure you check the meals before you go. Give them a test out at home, give them a cook, see if you like it. Some people don't like couscous. Make sure you like what you're going to take. I'm not opposed to taking some lollies and other things in your scroggin. I haven't got them here. They're sugar. Be very careful just taking sugar, because sugar is a burst, an energy food. It's going to give you a big burst of energy and not sustain you through the day. So some of this other food, make sure you're taking something that's going to sustain you and give you the energy that you need. You're going to have a lot better, more enjoyable time. Hopefully you have now got a bit of an understanding over what sort of food that you are going to need to be taking on an expedition.